there were over 4.4 million resignations in September of 2021. And I think October was pretty close at something over 4 million resignations. Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today, I wanted to do a solo podcast on the Great Resignation and, maybe kind of simplify what's happening and see if there are solutions, why things are happening and things like that. So let's start with what is happening. So there's over 4 million people resigning. I think this is probably the highest number of resignations in over 20 years. So it's really crazy. And what is happening is employees are leaving probably older companies. And what I mean by older companies is not companies that are like over 100 years old or 50 years old or something like that, but companies that haven't evolved with the times, companies with older mindsets and with older cultures. And the top employees are leaving for companies with better cultures, right? And so the next question that comes up is, why is this happening? And I would say it's two very simple things, right? So one is employees feel like they're not being treated well, right? So if you think about an organization has multiple stakeholders. You start with customers, you have investors, and then you have employees, right? And employees feel like customers are treated well, investors are treated very, very well, but as the third category, which is they themselves, are not treated very well. And this is leading to a lot of folks saying, okay, you know what, I'm out, screw this, I'm going, right? And the other thing is, of course, low pay. So people, you see all the union movements and all of that. That's happening. Coming back, is this normal, right? Is this normal? And I would say absolutely not. It is not normal. I mean, for over 4 million people to quit in a month, 2 months in a row, and these 2 months being the highest 2 months in the last 20 years, and probably the highest in history, is really insane, right? And just a side note, these numbers are just for the US. Globally, I'm sure these trends are in very high correlation, or there might be a little bit of a lag, but definitely I'm sure this is happening globally as well. Now, the other thing is this normal? Back to our point of whether this is normal, is also there's a cultural and generational shift, right? So the older style of management was, I can say and do whatever I want, and I'm pretty confident my employees will take it, and will not revolt and will not quit, right? So I think that was the other thinking that older style of management had. But now the workforce is moving from baby boomers who are slowly starting to retire to millennials and Gen Z who are not in, they do not want to put up with being mistreated or being not treated well or not treated right. So I think that's another thing that's really starting to affect companies. Now, what about the companies who are gaining top employees? So I would think that these are organizations that are treating their employees better or treating their employees well. And then what happens is, good employees, they add value, because the best employees either deliver the best services or build the best products, right? So if you're in services or you're in product or whatever area you're in, if you're into research, if you're an R&D focused organization, then the best scientists give you the best products in return. So what happens is, these companies, in the long run, they end up winning. Of course, in the short run, it might so happen that their stock price might drop because they feel like their expenses are going up and stuff like that. But in the long run, these folks, they definitely end up winning. Now, what are some of the side effects for us? Because we feel like, okay, my organization has seen attrition. We haven't seen it raise, right? Let's say, for example, or how does it affect me because I'm a small business owner, or I'm a one-person entity and I just work for myself. But I'm sure things like this really affect society at large as well. So one is, it could lead to inflation because Now companies have to pay more to attract employees, and that's a cost, and that cost is then passed on to consumers like you and me. So it really affects this consumer-based economy. The other thing is what's going to happen is from at a macro scale, from an investment perspective, there's also the ESG side of investing, and there's going to be a lot of focus on the G part, that is the governance part of ESG, because now investors will want to see that, okay, do you have good, solid, strong corporate governance? And if you do, great, because it might hit you hard in the short run, but in the long run, you tend to have you tend to offer better services and better products to your customers. Then, of course, there may be this whole millennial thing of move away from products to move away from things to experiences, right? So we might start seeing that. And of course, there is also an unintended consequence, which I think in the long run is going to be better for society, is automation and robotics. Because now companies are thinking, do I need a cashier, or do I need 5 cashiers, or can I automate that process with just one cashier who's helping folks who really need help at a kiosk, right? So there's going to be that change as well. And a lot of folks think that this might lead to lesser jobs, or people losing their jobs and things like that. I would think not. It's basically what's going to happen is, in the long run, it's going to lead to better jobs. You're going to have folks who are moving away from becoming cashiers to people who can actually service, build, and maintain these kiosks, right? So you might be more back end or back office, but the quality of the job that you do in the long run, and not you in particular, but the population does in the long run, is much better. Think of it as an evolution from us traveling on horseback or horse carriages to to driving in cars and the interstate system, right? Yes, maybe there are people who take care of horses who probably lose their jobs, but it created maybe 10x more in terms of jobs when we start to have better technology. What can organizations do to reverse this trend? I think it's going to be very simple, right? So I would say treat employees better. Treat employees just like how you would treat your customers or your investors, right? So treat them with the same respect and love. And I'm sure this problem can be solved. Otherwise, while you might see in the short run, you might see benefits, or you may not see any change, in the long run, as an organization, it's really going to affect you if you don't do this. And of course, pay people better. Make sure you're paying at market rates, and you're not taking advantage of someone's financial situation, right? So I think that's very important. So moving on, I think, to the last part is, what can I expect in 2022? So I would think that there's going to be more attrition, at least at companies that don't put employees first. So you're going to see attrition of the best talent, moving away of the best talent, or the most trained talent, or the most experienced talent, away from companies who don't treat their employees well, to companies who may be new, or companies who are already well established but have a good culture set up. And there's going to be a massive transfer of value from these companies that are low on the culture or the governance scale, to companies that have a very high score on the culture and governance scale. So it may not be an immediate transformation, but I would think that there is going to be a long-term massive transfer of value from these, let's call them the older mindset companies, to the newer mindset companies. So folks, I hope you like this, and if you did, definitely leave a like or a comment or a share. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Twitter at Agnel, at AGNEL, and I'm happy to have a discussion about this. And thank you, and have a nice day, have a great day, and Happy New Year.